Let me ask you something. How many times have you heard someone say, I would start prepping, but I live in an apartment? I don't have land, I don't have a basement, I don't have a garage that I can store all my preps. So they just assume preparing is basically impossible. But here's the thing that most people don't realize. Some of the most prepared people live in apartments. Because preparedness, it's not about the square footage. It's about thinking ahead and using the space that you have. And so today, I just want to walk through how apartment dwellers, can build real resilience without turning their homes into some kind of bunker. So the very first thing to understand is that renters actually have a huge advantage that most people overlook, and that is mobility, because homeowners are tied to property, mortgages, and long-term commitments. Renters can move faster. They can relocate if a neighborhood changes, if risks increase, or if opportunities just appear anywhere else. So that type of flexibility can actually become a strength when you combine it with smart planning. And so instead of thinking about building some permanent fortress, just think about layers of preparedness that move with you. So let's start with the most important resource, and that is water. So most emergency guidelines recommend about 1 gallon per person per day. I would highly recommend 3 gallons. And when people start to hear that, they immediately think like, where could I even store that? Well, water storage in an apartment really comes down to using spaces you're already ignoring. Like under your bed, that works great. Closets, corners along the walls, even inside furniture like storage benches. Spread it out a little, and suddenly storing a couple of weeks of water becomes a lot easier than most people think. And if you ever have a warning before a storm or outage, something like a bathtub water bladder can temporarily hold a large amount of water using space you already have. And then just pair that with a simple water filter, and now you got options if normal water pressure goes away. The next is food. So again, a lot of people picture massive doomsday stockpiles. That's not what we're talking about. Good apartment food storage is quiet and practical. Think about things like rice, beans, pasta, oats, canned food, stuff you already eat. Use the dead space under beds, top of shelves, in closets, or storage containers tucked away. If you slowly work your way toward 30 days of food, you were already ahead of most people, and you didn't have to turn your home into a warehouse to do it. Security, this is another thing that renters often think that they can't improve, but you can, and there are actually a few simple upgrades that make a big difference and don't violate your lease. So for example, most break-ins happen through doors with weak strike plates. So replacing those little small screws with longer ones that anchor into the wall stud, it can strengthen the door dramatically. You can also use things like portable door jammers, security bars, dowel rods for sliding doors. None of those cause permanent damage, but they do add another layer of protection. So let's talk about power outages. Apartment buildings can get hit hard during blackouts, like the elevators will stop, the hallways go dark, sometimes upper floors even lose water pressure. Generators usually aren't allowed, and honestly, they're not safe indoors anyway. So instead, think about portable battery power stations. They're quiet, they're safe indoors, and can keep essential devices running like phones, radios, lights, and small fans. And then just pair that with rechargeable LED lanterns or headlamps, and suddenly a blackout becomes a lot less stressful. And another area where renters really shine is evacuation readiness. So if something forces people to leave quickly, storms, wildfires, or other emergencies, renters can move much faster. And that's why a 72-hour go bag is one of the smartest things you can do and build. So make sure you have water, calories, first aid, flashlight, important documents. Just keep it simple. And if you have a vehicle, keeping a few extra supplies there gives you another safety net. So the biggest thing to remember with preparedness is this. You don't have to do everything at once. Start small. Add a few cans of food one week. Pick up a couple gallons of water the next. Grab a flashlight. Learn a new skill. Little steps that build real resilience over time. And then before you know it, you've created a solid safety net for yourself and your family. And honestly, here's a question worth thinking about. How many people around you actually think this way? How many neighbors are quietly preparing, learning skills, and thinking ahead instead of waiting for things to go wrong? Most people realize pretty quick that the answer is not many. And that's exactly why having the right kind of community matters. And one of the biggest reasons that we built preppingcommunities.com, not a panic site, not a doom platform, but just as a steady place for people who think this way. People who want to stay steady, stay informed, lower stress, and build resilience before it's forced upon them. So inside the platform, when you register with preppingcommunities.com, where membership is free, you will find local groups. If you can't find one, you can also start one. And you're going to see daily discussions, training and event opportunities, thousands of practical posts, and Prepper Watch tracking developments without the hype. It's just basically people building something steady together. And Prepping Communities was built to help you find your people and build your tribe. And if that sounds like something you'd like to be a part of, please come and check us out. And if you enjoy content like this, please like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss the next video. And before you go, I'm just curious, if you live in an apartment or rental, what's one preparedness item you keep that most people wouldn't even think about? Please drop it in the comments below, because one of the best parts of preparedness is that we learn from one another. And please like, subscribe, ring the bell so more people can hear this message and we can help this channel grow. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me today, and I will see you in the next video.